Before the world tells you what to think about, decide what kind of mind you will bring into it. Most people begin the morning in reaction. They reach for a phone. They meet requests, headlines, comparisons, unfinished problems, and other people's priorities before remembering their own. Within minutes, the mind is crowded. The day has started shaping them before they have chosen how to meet it. This practice reverses that order. You are going to train 7 Stoic truths into your morning. Not as slogans to repeat without thought, and not as promises that every day will go your way. These are principles to practice until a wiser response becomes easier to recover when pressure arrives. A single listen will not permanently rewire your mind, but attention can be trained. Interpretations can change. Repeated choices can become familiar paths. Each morning you remember these truths. You make it more likely that they will be available when an old reaction begins. Truth 1. Choose your mind before the world chooses it for you. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, yet he still struggled to leave his bed and begin his duties. In Book 5 of the Meditations, he reminds himself, "I have to go to work as a human being." He was not only talking about employment, he meant the work of being human, thinking clearly, acting fairly, meeting difficulty with courage, and contributing what you can. You also have human work to do today. Some of it will happen through your job, health, family, or responsibilities. Some of it will happen in moments no one else sees. The pause before you react, the promise you keep, the distraction you refuse, the honest thing you do without praise. Choose one sentence for the mind you will practice today. I will be deliberate before I am reactive. I will finish what matters before chasing what is loud. I will stay calm enough to see the next useful action. I will not surrender my standards to another person's mood. Choose one. Do not choose the sentence that sounds most impressive. Choose the one you are most likely to need. Now imagine the first moment today when the old pattern appears. Perhaps you see a message that creates anxiety. Perhaps you want to delay an important task. Perhaps someone speaks carelessly and you feel the urge to answer immediately. See yourself notice the reaction without obeying it. Hear the sentence you chose. Then make one better move. This is how morning practice becomes afternoon conduct. You are not trying to feel powerful. You are rehearsing a response. Truth 2. Your power begins where control becomes real. Epictetus begins the handbook with a division that can organize an entire life. Some things are up to us, and some are not. Your judgments, intentions, choices, and actions belong to you. Other people's opinions, the past, timing, luck, and final outcomes do not fully belong to you. This sounds simple until you notice how much mental energy is spent trying to control what is not yours. You may be trying to control whether someone understands you, whether a plan succeeds immediately, whether the market rewards your work, whether another person changes, or whether the day contains inconvenience. Bring one of those concerns to mind now. Name it plainly. Then divide it. What part is outside your control? What part still belongs to you? You cannot control the answer, but you can make the request clear. You cannot control the result, but you can improve the work. You cannot control another person's mood, but you can control whether you add confusion or clarity. You cannot control the whole day, but you can control the next deliberate action. Picture a circle around judgment, intention, and action. This is your field of training. Everything outside the circle may matter. You may influence it, prepare for it, and work hard to improve it. But you cannot build inner stability on the demand that it obey you. This is not passivity. It is accurate effort. The undisciplined mind tries to command the result and neglects the action. The trained mind gives full care to the action, then leaves the result open. Give today a reserve clause. Say, "I intend to do this if circumstances allow." The phrase does not weaken commitment. It removes the fantasy that commitment gives you ownership of every consequence. You will prepare, act, adjust, and continue. Ask yourself now, what is the most important thing inside my circle today? Make it concrete. Not be productive. Finish the proposal, make the call, train for 40 minutes. Tell the truth. Begin the work you have been avoiding. Your mind does not become stronger by controlling more of the world. It becomes stronger by returning more quickly to the part that is yours. Truth 3. Expect friction so it cannot own the day. A useful morning practice does not promise an easy day. It prepares you to use the day you actually receive. Marcus Aurelius begins Book 2 by reminding himself that he may meet people who are ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, or difficult. He is not teaching suspicion. He is removing surprise. Much frustration begins with the thought, "This should not be happening. The delay should not exist. The person should know better. The work should move faster. My energy should remain high." Reality has broken an agreement it never made. The Stoics practiced premeditation of adversity. They considered likely difficulties in advance, not to suffer twice, but to meet difficulty once in imagination, while reason was still calm. Look at the day ahead. Choose 2 realistic obstacles, not 20 disasters. A person may misunderstand you. Technology may fail. A task may take longer. You may feel tired. An answer may be no. Your first plan may not work. Now ask, what quality would let me use this well? If the obstacle is delay, practice patience. If it is criticism, practice honest examination without collapse. If it is uncertainty, practice steadiness. If it is conflict, practice courage joined with fairness. If it is failure, practice learning and another attempt. Marcus writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This does not mean every hardship is secretly pleasant. It means the blocked plan still leaves you with work to do. The new work may be adaptation, restraint, clarity, persistence, or acceptance. Imagine one obstacle now. Remove the dramatic story and keep only the facts. See yourself pause. Ask what belongs to you. Choose the relevant virtue. Take one useful action. Let the scene end without forcing the outcome. Then create one if-then rule. If the conversation becomes tense, I will slow my speech. If the first attempt fails, I will review the facts before judging myself. If I feel overwhelmed, I will reduce the field to one action. If I want to send an angry message, I will wait before pressing send. Simple rules prepared in calm reduce decisions made under pressure. Expect friction, but do not worship it. Difficulty is training material, not proof that the day is important. You are allowed to enjoy smooth progress, help, comfort, health, and success. The Stoics called many of these preferred things. Work toward them. Appreciate them. Just do not confuse a preferred condition with a good character. Truth 4. The first impression is not the final truth. Every day produces impressions. A message looks urgent. A comment feels insulting. An opportunity seems perfect. A fear sounds certain. The first impression arrives quickly. Your freedom begins before you give it full agreement. Epictetus advises us to answer a harsh impression by saying, "You are an impression, not yet the thing you claim to be." Carry that idea into modern life. A notification is not a command. A feeling is not a fact. A delay is not a rejection. A mistake is not an identity. A difficult morning is not a ruined day. Prepare 3 questions. What happened? What am I adding? What action fits my values? The first question returns you to facts. The second exposes prediction, exaggeration, and mind reading. The third gives reason a job. Suppose someone does not reply. The fact is that no reply has arrived. The added story may be that they are ignoring you, that something is wrong, or that your request will fail. A values-based action might be to wait, follow up clearly, or move another task forward. Suppose you make a mistake. The fact is that one action produced a poor result. The added story may be that you always fail or are not capable. A values-based action is to correct what you can, learn, and continue. This is cognitive training in its oldest practical form. You are separating the event from the judgment attached to it. The Stoics did not try to become emotionless. They understood that overwhelming fear, craving, anger, and distress often grow from what we judge to be necessary, unbearable, or terrible. If you judge approval to be necessary, you will chase it. If you judge discomfort to be unbearable, you will avoid useful work. If you judge one setback to be a disaster, distress will expand beyond the event. Today, let every strong impression wait for examination. You do not need to suppress it. You do not need to obey it. Pause, separate fact from story, and choose. That small space is one of the places where a mind is rewired. Truth 5. One meaningful action is worth more than 100 urgent distractions. The mind is easily impressed by movement. Checking, planning, switching, replying, and organizing can feel productive because they create activity. But activity and progress are not the same. A Stoic morning asks a sharper question. What action would make this day well used? Choose one. It should be concrete enough that you know when it is finished. It should matter enough that completing it changes the day. And it should be difficult enough that distraction may try to protect you from it. Now connect the action to one of the 4 virtues. Wisdom sees what matters and what can wait. Courage begins before comfort arrives. Justice considers the people affected and keeps the action fair. Moderation prevents appetite, irritation, and distraction from taking command. Which virtue does your essential action require? If the task is unclear, use wisdom to define the next physical step. If the task is uncomfortable, use courage to begin for 10 minutes. If the task affects others, use justice to do it properly rather than merely quickly. If the task competes with easy rewards, use moderation to protect your attention. Now circle the present. Your mind may already be living in this afternoon, next month, or an imagined future. Bring the boundary closer. What does this hour require? What does the current task require? What is the next visible action? Marcus repeatedly returns to the present because action only occurs here. You can learn from the past and prepare for the future, but you work with the moment in front of you. Choose one protected block for the essential action. Decide when it begins, what it is for, and what will be removed while you do it. Perhaps it is 40 minutes without messages. Perhaps it is the first hour before social media. Perhaps it is one conversation where the phone stays out of sight. The exact method matters less than the decision that your mind is not public property. Expect the urge to escape. Boredom may appear. Another task may suddenly seem more important. The mind may offer a quick reward. Do not make the urge an enemy. Notice it, name it, and return. Moderation is the ability to use enough and stop, enough checking, enough planning, enough input, then back to the work. You may lose focus, return, you may delay the start. Begin from where you are. You may react badly in one moment, use the next one better. Stoic training is not a flawless performance. It is the return, repeated as often as necessary. Truth 6. Other people are part of the training, not interruptions to it. You can feel calm alone and still lose yourself around other people. The true test arrives when another person delays you, criticizes you, misunderstands you, or brings their mood into your plans. Marcus's morning reminder about difficult people ends with a more important truth. We were born to work together. The purpose of preparing for difficult behavior is not to become hard or suspicious. It is to remain fair and useful when irritation would make you forget your values. Bring to mind one person who may challenge you today. Remove the label and describe the behavior in plain facts. Instead of selfish, perhaps they interrupt. Instead of unreliable, perhaps they missed 2 deadlines. Instead of impossible, perhaps they disagree and speak harshly. Facts help you choose. Labels often prepare you to fight. Now decide your standard before the interaction. I will understand before I condemn. I will listen for useful truth without surrendering my judgment. I will be firm without adding humiliation. I will state the boundary without turning it into a performance. Understanding does not require agreement. Fairness does not mean unlimited access. Stoicism permits refusal, distance, consequences, and clear boundaries. Justice asks what is due to everyone involved, including you. Prepare a simple conflict sequence. Pause, lower your speed, state the facts, name what is needed, and stop adding heat. If the other person continues, repeat the boundary rather than creating a longer argument. Praise is also part of the training. If someone approves of you, receive it without making it your fuel. If they disapprove, examine the evidence without making it your identity. Reputation can be useful, but it is not the same as character. Choose one useful social action for today. Keep a promise. Send the information. Make the apology without defending it. Say no clearly instead of saying yes resentfully. Give someone 5 minutes of full attention. Self-command should make you more useful, not more self-absorbed. The people you meet today are not outside your practice. They are where the practice becomes visible. Truth 7. Begin before you feel ready. The untrained mind treats a feeling as a requirement. It says you must feel motivated before you work, confident before you speak, calm before you act, and certain before you decide. But readiness often follows action. Marcus did not tell himself to wait until work felt appealing. He reminded himself that action belonged to his nature. The Stoics did not wait to become wise before practicing wisdom. They practiced wisdom in order to become wiser. You can do the same. You do not need confidence to take the first courageous step. You do not need perfect focus to remove one distraction. You do not need certainty to choose the most reasonable action available. Begin small enough that resistance cannot hide behind complexity. Open the document, put on the shoes, write the first sentence, make the call, state the boundary, work for 10 honest minutes. Action gives the mind new evidence. Each time you begin despite resistance, you weaken the belief that discomfort has authority over you. This does not mean working without rest. Health, sleep, recovery, and limits matter. The point is to tell the difference between a genuine need and the mind's habit of avoiding useful discomfort. Ask, do I need recovery, or do I need a beginning? Answer honestly. Now bring all 7 truths together. First, choose your mind before the world chooses it for you. Second, Return to what is truly within your control. Third, expect friction so it cannot own the day. Fourth, examine the first impression before accepting its story. Fifth, protect one meaningful action from urgent distraction. Sixth, treat other people as part of the training. Seventh, begin before you feel ready. Let us turn these truths into a short mental rehearsal. Picture the first hour of your day. See yourself meeting the first task without mentally rushing ahead. A distraction appears. You notice it and return. A message produces tension. You separate the facts from the story. A difficult person enters your attention. You lower your speed and keep your standard. The plan changes. You adjust and continue. Resistance appears. You begin anyway. You do not control whether the day is easy. You control whether difficulty immediately owns your mind. You do not control whether people approve. You control whether approval replaces your standards. You do not control every result. You control the care you bring before the result leaves your hands. Now, take the view from above. Imagine your building from the street, your city from the sky, and the wider world beginning another day. Millions of people are waking, planning, worrying, working, caring for others, and carrying burdens you cannot see. Your concerns are real, but they are part of a larger human scene. This perspective does not make your life meaningless. It removes the illusion that every worry is the center of the world. It creates room for gratitude, proportion, and service. Return to your own life. This day is limited. Seneca reminds us that life does not begin later. It arrives as individual days, and this is one of them. If today mattered, what would deserve your time? What could be left alone? Which conversation should happen? Which resentment has already received enough of your life? Choose the essential action again. State it in one sentence. Then choose how you will perform it. With wisdom, by seeing the facts clearly. With courage, by beginning before comfort arrives. With justice, by respecting the people affected. With moderation, by refusing excess and distraction. Do not judge this practice by whether it creates a powerful feeling. Some mornings will feel clear, others will feel ordinary. Its value appears when the prepared thought becomes available at the moment an old reaction begins. A morning principle becomes useful when it changes an afternoon choice. You may forget these truths by midday. Place one reminder where the day will find you. A note, an alarm, a line on your desk, or a pause before lunch. Let the reminder ask one question. What belongs to me now? When the plan changes, say, adjust and continue. When an impression feels urgent, say, pause and check the facts. When another person becomes difficult, say, stay fair and keep the boundary. When resistance appears, say, begin before you feel ready. Simple reminders are easier to recover under pressure than a long lecture. Let the final commitment be clear. Today I will choose my mind before the world chooses it for me. I will work with what is mine. I will expect obstacles without fearing them. I will examine impressions before obeying them. I will protect the action that matters. I will meet people with fairness and self-command. I will begin before I feel ready, then release what follows. You do not need to carry the whole day now. Carry the next choice. The morning training is complete. The day is where the rewiring becomes real. Begin.